Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box. And today I want to talk to you about a man I consider one of the finest drummers of all time. And I'm talking about Danny Seraphine. Now, why doesn't Danny Seraphine get talked about more? And I think that there's a kind of funny reason. He was in a band that, judging by their album covers and most of their promo, they were sort of a nameless and faceless band. Although their true fans and, hardcore musicians certainly knew the name of every single one of them. And that band was, of course, Chicago, or as it was originally known, the Chicago Transit Authority, until the people that were running the buses in Chicago said you cannot do that. But City Hall didn't seem to have a problem. Now, Chicago were a band that were very appropriately named because Chicago has had such a unique musical culture. So much great jazz has come out of Chicago. Electric blues found a home in Chicago. A lot of great soul and R&B in Chicago. A lot of AOR rock found a lot of success in Chicago, and a lot of people from the Midwest in general were involved in that scene. And they absorbed all of those influences, probably more jazz than anything else. Although I think the other day Peter Cetera said we always consider ourselves a prog rock band, and I kind of get that too. Styx were from Illinois as well. But the individual members of the band, at least until Peter Cetera sort of took over, if you will, in the 80s, they remained in their golden 60s and 70s years somewhat anonymous, but anyone who saw them live knew that they were virtuosos, and even people who weren't drummers could see and hear straight away that Danny Seraphine was and remains a very, very wonderful drummer, one of the finest ever. He's the kind of person that if you plopped him in a group like Return to Forever, or if you plopped him in a sort of Benny Goodman style big band, he would feel right at home because he had his bona fide jazz credentials literally written over every stroke of his sticks. Just an amazing, amazing talent. And when you listen to Chicago, I always felt that the drums, among other things, really stick out as something incredibly virtuosic. He wasn't just there to be some boring metronome. He was there to do what all great drummers do, add a melodic flavor to the rhythm. Because while bad drummers can't keep time and good drummers can, great drummers are people who sculpt the melody and create dynamics within the melody. And that's one of the things, well, both of the things, among many others, that he was able to do throughout his time in Chicago and throughout his other projects. He parted ways with the band in the 90s, but he's done something in the early 2000s, and I think it still might be going on, but don't quote me on that, called the California Transit Authority, because he moved out to California, I think along with the other members of the band, and he put together a band to play Chicago's music. And these guys were all virtuosos. Mark Bonilla was a member of the band. He's played a lot with Keith Emerson and Roger Waters, just really great stuff. He's done film music, he's worked as an executive producer, an all around really intelligent guy who just has a wonderful touch and a wonderful feel on the drums. He can do your crazy fast Buddy Rich stuff, he can sculpt the melody like all great drummers do. Just someone I think you really ought to pay attention to if you haven't already. As always, like, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Take care.